Here we have BB-8 from Sphero, as first seen in the Star Wars The Force Awakens movie. This is the app-enabled droid. In this video I'm going to put BB-8 through its paces to see if this is indeed the droid I've been looking for. Just going to do a quick spin of the box. It's a nice sturdy box, and we'll come to how to open it in a moment. It doesn't actually have a top lift off like the original Sphero 1 and 2 and Sphero 2 revealed. In fact, it's actually standing on its edge because this is the back and the bottom of the box. And you have actually a couple of bits of tape you need to cut just very carefully. And if you peel them like I have, very, very slowly and very carefully, you'll cause no damage to the box. Okay, let's open it up. Once you've cut the tape, all you need to do is to carefully lift the box from the lid, and you'll find very slowly the bottom of the box just drops out very easily. And it does take a little bit of time, so you are feeling and hearing exactly the speed that yours are going to take, because you want to keep all this wonderfully mint condition. And it's a great little box. So you've got here a little kind of storage container for your BB-8. Lovely little icon. You're going to see a lot more of that, I think. Little cloth ribbon to pull open the lift tab, and immediately you're faced with an emblazoned Star Wars, the Sphero company logo, and another lift point. Now this card is then loose, so you take this away, and underneath there you have now the BB-8 droid. He's underneath and held well in place under a little removable plastic cover, so you can take that out, but don't throw it away. I think if you are going to store BB-8, this box is exactly where you want to keep him. This dark material here is a very, very dense foam, incredibly dense, and really serves well as a storage box. And that's also why this came in perfect mint condition. Got this actually through the post from Firebox, and it's absolutely mint condition. Getting the Sphero ball out separately from the head is your first challenge. There are points to put your fingers in, but it's quite snug. Now I've removed mine a few times, as you can imagine, but getting that out is one part. And of course you've got your charging base or storage pod and all the necessary cables. Let's get all these things out on the table and set up. Here it is all out of the packaging. There's a couple of things. The cable that's inside this box is a little bit tricky to remove out of the actual package base. There's a hidden tab, so if you actually feel inside, of course it's black cardboard inside a black lined box, but you'll find this tag makes it a little bit easier to draw this out to then get your USB charging cable, which I particularly like. There's a little Sphero logo on there. I do like it when they personalise cables. So I recommend you remove the BB-8 head last. Not only because you can get better grip on it, but just so you're more careful and aware. So get the main ball body unit of BB-8 out, get the charging base platform out, and then you've got the head. And you can be a little bit more careful, and you do need to be a little bit careful because of these antennae, which I think are fantastic. Now they have been designed to be a bit springy, so they are robust, and they have been given some strength and stability in their flexibility. But you've got to be a little bit careful of that. Don't go crunching it down the very first thing you pull your BB-8 head out of the box. So here is the mechanism. Let's peel off a little protective plastic film to reveal BB-8's wheels. Why has its head got wheels? Because it has to be able to roll freely around the body of the BB-8 droid itself. Now that clasp, and yeah, I'm picking up by the head, is magnetism. So lots of magnets are involved in the BB-8 droid and the way it works. Basically, imagine, if you can, a hamster ball, and inside, rather than a hamster, so you can imagine this being a clear spherical ball, and rather than it being a hamster, inside there's a clever little roving robot with lots of wheels, and on top of its back, as it were, so let's say there's a clever little robot, on top of its back there's a stalk with a magnet that it can turn, and that's how you get the head of the BB-8 to also spin and face in the right direction, as well as to portray its charming cheeky character. I already think this is an adorable little droid. I don't know how they managed to outdo R2-D2 so quickly, but I already love this little droid and can't wait to have it whizzing around my table. Okay, what I'm going to do now is to go through all the setup you need for the very first time charging, getting it configured with your app. Of course, you've got to download the BB-8 Droid onto your... I'm going to be using an iPad mini Retina, but you can do it also on your Android device, and Sphero are very busy releasing this on as many platforms as they can and making sure that there's plenty of app-enabled fun for everyone. The setup really is as simple as these 4 steps. So you've already got your BB-8 Droid settled down, so it's up is up and it's down is down, so the head fits nicely onto the droid, and you're going to just pop him onto the cradle. Now the actual cradle itself needs half an amp 5-volt supply, so pretty much any phone charger will do, but you can also plug it into your laptop, but not all laptops will give enough power to do this. Immediately the blue light starts to blink, and when BB-8's got enough power, it will wake up. Now if yours doesn't wake up, there's a button on the left hand side here. If you press it down for a few seconds, it will actually just kickstart BB-8 into life. And you can now see him blinking red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, and well, he's alive. Now, it's got to charge until that blinking stops. It's going to take about 3 to 4 hours. BB-8 isn't fully charged, but now BB-8 is happily receiving power, and when he's got enough power, like he has now, he wakes up from his sleep and he starts to look around. And cute though he is, he's going to do that for quite some time, taking in all the surroundings, getting to know you, perhaps having a little read of the instructions over here. Now of course he's not app controlled yet, so this is just a very cute startup charging regime, but you've got to let him fully charge, and he's going to keep his eye out and have a look around. He's having a good look around behind him. He's probably just seen the box he came in and he's wondering who that is on the picture. So whilst it's charging, a couple of little facts. It's 11.4 centimeters high, 7.3 centimeters across. Now it's an interesting challenge to say what scale it is. I think it's something like 1/8 scale. So I happen to have a 1/6 scale R2-D2, which will come into shot later. As you can see, BB-8 is a little bit short and probably a 7th or 8th scale droid. What I'm going to do is quickly just slide in a photo of when these two guys first met on a public convention show stage. And as you can see in the diagram, BB-8, his head is probably just underneath the top upper part of the white barrel part of R2-D2, and the main ball of BB-8 only really up to, say, the midpoint of R2-D2. So as you can see now, they're standing side by side. BB-8's a little bit short, but I think he's going to make up for any short stature in character and charisma and charm. So whilst BB-8 is charging, you want to load up your app store for your device. Now if you're lucky, if you just type in BB-8, top suggestion I've got here is the BB-8 App enabled Droid. Make sure it's this logo, so you've got the Star Wars logo. BB-8 trademark app enabled Droid by Orbotix Incorporated. So it is Orbotix that own Sphero. Now I've already downloaded it, and I can now open it. Now of course you've got to have your Bluetooth active on your device, and there's a few other things that you're going to need to activate if you want to use all the full features of your droid. Now I'm going to turn all this down a little bit, because otherwise I'm going to be waking up poor old BB-8. Oh, he heard. Now of course that's actually the droid and the app finding each other. First thing you're going to do, news to the right. The first thing he's going to do, of course, is do a firmware update, so don't be surprised. Now that's one fantastic thing you're getting here for Orbotix. I've already got a Sphero revealed, and over the years I've had a Sphero, all the time, for the same purchase price, I keep getting lots and lots of free extra updates and goodies, new games, new features, new functions, and it's great. And I expect the same out of the BB-8. It already comes with some fantastic functions and options, which I can't wait, including the semi-autonomous patrol mode, which I'm really looking forward to, because I really fancy the idea of BB-8 driving around my house, exploring, patrolling, keeping an eye on things. The holographic messaging looks fun. We'll have a little try of that. And so does all the microphone voice control work. So you're also going to, when asked on your device, allow access to the microphone and a few other bits and bobs that you're going to need to do. So as you can see, it's already nearly up to date. The BB-8 droid's flashing red whilst he's still charging, so a lot of this you can do whilst he's still charging. and he's gone blue. I think he's happy with that firmware update. Oh yes, I think he is. He's quite happy. He had a little look around, and I'd imagine he's going to restart now. So on the 99%, he's actually going to lurk and linger, and he's absolutely happily up to date. Now, still charging, so I can't do all these other things yet. So although I can look at the functions and features I've got, including drive, the holographic message, the patrol, which I'm really interested in, we're going to now really wait until he's fully charged. Sometime into the charge, he actually stopped moving, so I think he's having a little nap. Now, I'm not going to deliberately try to wake him up, but what I'm going to show you is that if BB-8 isn't put in an upright fashion, it doesn't charge. So if I laid him over, those blue lights aren't flashing, and that's because the way it charges with it using an induction coil. So there's a coil, copper coil inside the droid as well as the base, and unless they're reasonably well lined up, and the better they're lined up, the better it will charge, then the droid can't charge. Now, I'm not going to press it, but just so you know, so don't worry BB-8, just down here on the left of the Star Wars logo, so I've turned the unit around, is the reset button, and that kind of resets things and can also help if you have problems waking up your BB-8 droid. And of course the charging cable, the USB cable is going in the back there. BB-8 is obviously quite happy to keep looking at the camera, so that's the rear of the charge unit. No difference apart from those things, so the charging socket at the rear, button, reset button to the left, and of course you want to keep it facing forward on your shelf so you can keep an eye on these blinking lights just to see how fully charged BB-8 is. I'm just going to launch the app and show you how things go from the start off. So he's already had his firmware update, so you don't get anything other than launch straight into the Star Wars movie, which I'm going to just skip, and you can. And now, over Bluetooth, your devices are going to pair. You can see a little blue glow underneath BB-8's head there, and he's absolutely happy, and he's now connected. And you can see, he moves his head and lets you know. So generally, he's alive and connected, and you've got all that perfect. Now, one of the first things you actually want to do is to go into Drive. Now you want to actually configure and get used to how to use BB-8. So this is going to be very familiar if you've had a Sphero or you're a Sphero user. What you want to do is to find the BB-8's tail light. And what is the tail light? And when I spin it around, you'll find it. There's a blue flashing light. Now you might not be able to see it too clearly. Let me just bring that blue light back up. I'm going to dim the lights to help. And you should see that blue light blinking, and I can rotate it. So it's moving the little droid inside BB-8 such that the blue tail light is now pointing towards me, and that's so that it has an orientation of where you are in relation to your BB-8 droid. Now normally you'd be holding your iPad, in this case, in your hands, and so it'd have a very good idea where you are, and it then means when you steer and control using the left hand side of the BB-8 app, it moves in the orientation that you expect, in the directions you expect. Now I've actually got BB-8 moving very, very slowly, and that's one of the many configurations you've got here. So if you just press right arrow, as you can see, I've got the speed override very slow. He moves very, very fast, and until you've got used to your BB-8 rolling around the place, it's not a bad idea to have him on a reasonably sedate speed. There's loads of other little fun things you can do. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit more because it's all about the sound, and microphone is your app. BB-8 hasn't got a microphone, hasn't got any speakers. Don't forget that. So if you want to hear him talking to you, you've got to have the app on, and he'll quite happily be. He's very expressive anyway. You don't actually need to be pressing these buttons. Don't get me wrong. BB-8 is a cheeky chappy, and he likes to explore, gets bored if you don't do things, and likes to poodle around the place. Hope he doesn't wander off camera. I think he's gone to admire himself and his box front. Okay, good, he's come back again. Let's just go to the second screen here. There's a couple of really quite neat apps here. I'm going to make BB-8 just turn his head around. Come on, turn around, there he goes. The square one's quite funny. It actually draws a large square on the ground, and if you're standing in the middle of it, it looks quite cool. The figure of 8 one is also good fun, and you can get him to run around and do some quite panicky mode type things as well. So don't be surprised if you hear your BB-8 screaming and squealing with glee and delight. And as he, you know, in fear sometimes runs away. Now you've got to be a little bit careful. I'm going to make sure he doesn't fall on the floor, because you can also make him roll off, run away a little bit, and he'll quite happily do exactly that. And I'm going to bring him back under my own control now. Try and get him to stop in front of the screen. There we go. So you've got to get used to the various different driving skills and actions that your BB-8 can do. You'll soon get used to it. Really good, fun, happy rolling. And if you've got a kind of remote control car, you're going to be quite used to, or remote control device, you're quite used to this kind of thumbstick joystick kind of idea. It's great fun. and really goes fast. Now, I've had BB-8 fall off my table a few times. So you can absolutely have them rolling around a small table, but you've got to be quite skillful. It's quite tough, so mine hasn't been damaged at all. I'm always a little bit wary of the antennas, but so far, touch wood, all very good. I've been playing with them for about 3 days now, so great fun. And let's go on to some of the other apps as well. So, for me, one of the most interesting features of BB-8 is the patrol function, and this basically allows your BB-8 droid to properly roam around under his own volition, under his own control, and you really get the best character out of him in this. So I'm going to just kick off the patrol function in the app, and I'm going to turn up the sound just so that you can hear the communication we get from BB-8. Now, one thing I quite like is the tracking system on the right here, and you get a bit of a visual representation. So I've just pressed play, i.e. start, go, and BB-8's off now, and you're going to get a bit of a map. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a representative map of what you see on the table here, so I've kind of created a bit of a challengey area here. Bit of a maze, but nothing too crazy. Now, obviously BB-8's not designed to go around tables and small track layouts like this. It's really designed for your dining room and or, you know, around your house. And I've got a bit of a circular house where he can actually go between my dining room, my lounge, my hall and my kitchen, back into my dining room. So he's doing little circuits of my house downstairs, and he's just great. I love him. I leave him running around and roaming around and hear him playing and talking and scanning for life forms. You've got an interesting kind of event log which you can scroll through, an internal temperature which you can sort of cycle through. You can see how fast he's going. You can play between the chronometer, the acceleration mapping, gyro stabilization status, gyro balance monitor. Now, I like the miniature gyro balance monitor that you can get. Where is it? I'll find it. Oh no, I know, it's cycling through. It's a tracking system on there, and then you can cycle through and get the gyro balance monitor there, and I like the event log. So they're my 3 favourite monitor modes, just so I can keep an eye and roughly get a feeling for what BB-8's up to. You get a feeling of his orientation, and because it's got an accurate-ish representation of his head, you can see where he's looking even, which I quite like as well. So, you know, he's almost got himself trapped. He's having a good explore. He's in a kind of a dead end, but he'll get himself out. I've seen him do all kinds of crazy things, and he's a whale of a time. I always get a little bit worried when he's in my dining room, underneath my dining room table, playing around with all the chair legs, hitting things and going left and going right. But he never gets trapped. Sometimes he can stay in a room for 20 minutes and then he'll just zoom past you, and whilst you're watching TV, and it will stop, say hello, and then go off again. And yeah, he's great. It really does bring out his character and personality, and this is my, you know, the main mode I use with BB-8 is actually patrol. Sure, I like to have him and go rolling around the place and charge him around, and that is all great. But I really love the kind of character and exploration mode that you have here, where BB-8 will, under his own control, you know, his own character, his own personality, you know, collision detected, surveying, he's having a little look, he's awaiting external sensor input. I'm not quite sure what he expects for me to do. But, you know, he's had enough of that corner and he's going to roll around. He doesn't just stick to the edges, don't get me wrong. He can be a little bit clever when he's stuck in a corner and have a good nosy around. But he gets out. He has a little exploration who goes around, and I love him. So I'm going to leave this video to end with BB-8 just exploring around the place. And yeah, I think if you had one of these, he's really become my pet. He's just fantastic. I love him. So BB-8 has the free run of our downstairs of the house. Can't recommend upstairs, because if he does go to the edge of a staircase, he's going to roll downstairs. And although I've dropped him a couple of times off a table and no harm has come to him, I would worry that a full flight of stairs might just be a little bit too much for BB-8 until he's got himself flying skills like R2-D2. And hey, who knows, maybe he can do that, but not this particular model. So BB-8, having great fun. You're going to come to me, you're going to go forward, forward, forward. I wish he could listen to me at this mode, and I wish I could tell him with voice commands which direction to go. So, you know, hopefully app add-ons and enhancements that might come. Certainly they've got the voice recognition, synthesis, word recognition in there, and a little bit more in combination with maybe this app or a new one, and I do really trust Orbotix and Sphero to come out with new upgrades. I reckon by Christmas, by 2016, there's going to be so many more fun features and games you can play with the BB-8. This is just one I love, and getting him to solve mazes, I'm definitely going to be doing more of this. I've actually got BB-8 in his dock to act like a restraining bolt. Now he doesn't like that, but I'll explain why. In settings, if you turn on the voice activation, you've got to be a little bit careful with what you're saying and what you're doing. So if there's anybody around you, you've got the telly on the background, be a little bit careful, because the voice recognition is not like Siri. But now whenever you actually say his name, like, hey BB-8, even in the menu, he starts listening. Now let me just turn up the old volume so you can hear him chirp away. Now, as you heard, I didn't say it's a trap. He heard it's a trap. Now I did say it just then, so I wouldn't be surprised if he came up and reacted to it's a trap. And what he'd actually be doing now is running away, rolling around and hiding. But you can ask him to go to sleep. BB-8, go to sleep. And to wake up. How do you feel? I think he's a bit confused. What do you think? You can also get him into the mode for patrol. Go explore. And you would then be off in the patrolling, looking around. But as you can hear, he's chirping away, and even if I take him briefly out of the dock, he's going to be all over the place. So I say, go explore. Yep, he's going to run off camera, and I'm going to just knock him back on, just so that you can see him in camera frame. But that's why I recommend when you do have the voice mode active, you have him on the floor, plenty of space, and nothing really going on in the background, because he will hear you when you say run away. Okay, that was an unknown command. He's not happy with that. Run away! Run away! BB-8, run away! And there he is on the floor again, but no harm done. Alive and well. BB-8, go to sleep. So I do recommend actually keeping this listen mode deactivated, because you will have almost too much fun with BB-8 getting into his own personality, his own character. And yes, BB-8, you're actually such a mischief, you need a restraining bolt. Yes, a restraining bolt. Using the app message function, you're actually able to get your BB-8 to project an AR, augmented reality holographic projection. The app comes with one already recorded, but you can record your own. And here's one showing a T-70 X-Wing video. Now the app has to find through your camera the actual BB-8, so there it is, as you can see. You can angle the projection, and it actually twists BB-8 around, so I can make it project up onto my fireplace as it is there. But as you can see, BB-8 is actually angled to face where it's projecting, but as you can see, now I've zoomed in on the BB-8, not actually projecting anything. So it's a bit of a trick. That is augmented reality in its finest, but it will just loop on that video that I've selected. But like I say, you can record your own, so it uses the front camera. So again, you've got to allow the app to use all of your features of your device. This time we're going to use a video I made. Here's R2-D2. And again, once the app has spotted where your BB-8 is, it's able to project.
Hello, BB-8.
So it does need to be pretty much central. but you can then angle the projection point and source. Now the nice thing is BB-8 angles up to really give that feeling that it is coming from your BB-8 body itself. Now I'm not sure R2-D2 really does speak like that, but it's certainly my best impersonation.
Hello, BB-8.
I think that's enough of that. But recording your own, you get to use the front camera, so again, make sure the app's got functions, access to all the functions of your smart device, and you can certainly have fun projecting holograms, and I think BB-8 quite happily enjoyed all of that. What do you think, BB-8? What do you mean you don't like being used like a mobile phone? I think you're drunk. BB-8, will you show me your square formation, please? Pretty good, well done. And one more trick, BB-8. Would you show me your figure of 8? Oh, you're headed off that way. There's not enough room over there. Well, not bad at all. I think you did very well. Yes. It's my fault for having all the obstacles. It's my fault completely. Your gyros are out of control. Someone's trying to influence your control systems. Oh my goodness. Obviously, on a hard wooden floor, BB-8 will skid a little bit more than he would on either thin carpet or something with a little bit of grip. Lino or linoleum is all very good for him. But he can pretty much run anything, you just get a few more skids. So whilst he's having fun, showing me all his various different tricks. What's up? You think you've got dust in your actuators? Okay, I'll show everybody how to clean you in the next shot. One job you might want to do when he's charging is to inspect the wheels of your BB-8's head. So a bit like an old-fashioned mouse when they used to have wheels in them. You can get fluff and grit and dust here. You can see it's a little bit dark here. You want to just spin the wheels and you can see I'm getting kind of gunk and fluff from the floors. So the more fluffy or dirty your floors are, I'm not proud here, I'm showing you all the dirt I'm getting from my wooden floors and my carpets here. But if you keep that clean and fluff free, then you'll find BB-8's head rolls and flows much more freely around the body, and that's what you want. Otherwise, sometimes you'll find that he's, rolling around and the head is jerking all over the place and it's moving really suddenly and awkwardly and is more likely to fall off. So it's a small little tip just to keep BB-8's head rolling free on the body. And one last message from me and BB-8.
Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment.
Leave poor R2 alone, BB-8. Yes, you bully.